They're 3-4. Not a crisis record-wise. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot better than 2-5 if they had dropped that game last
Which,
night.
I mean, and for this context, they were 0-4 last year. I believe
Yep.
they were they would have been 3-4 through maybe even 2-5 through 7 games last year. It was kind of a rocky start.
It was the major difference to me is that was coming on the heels of 16 years of postseasonless basketball, where people were kind of trained to see the Kings struggle. This, of course, is such a new experience for them, where they have expectations. You know, my God, you and I wrote 3,000 words about how they legitimately saw themselves internally as eventual title contenders. That this was the goal, this is the push. They're trying to become from good to great. Those themes are not panning out right now. But what is panning out, and it's something that was in our story, is the commentary and the perspective from Coach Mike Brown, specifically about the idea that if I'm going to push them into this new place, ask them to play better defense, ask them to make that good to great jump, it might be ugly. And sure, and I'm paraphrasing, but sure enough, he was right. Slater, I don't know exactly where you want to start, but for me, the shooting is what is so puzzling. I'm at that game last night. And it's one thing if the offense is not functioning like it did last season and the open looks are not there. The open looks are there. Keegan Murray is scuffling. I mean, it is a sophomore slump in every sense of that phrase. I think 25% at this point on high volume. Just cannot hit wide open threes. Kevin Huerter has played a little bit better the last couple of games, but coming in at 28.6% on 6 threes per game. The shooting is a massive problem. The defense has barely gotten better. And before I throw it to you, the breakdown in terms of rankings: 18th in defense, they were 23rd last year. 20th in offense, they were not only first last year, but they were a historic first. And then 21st overall in net rating. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, I think some of the shooting is just a bad streak at a bad time, right? There was 7-game, 8-game streaks where Keegan Murray shot in the 20th percentile last year, and then there'd be 8-game streaks, certainly from Herter, where he'd be 50% from three. I'm sure that's coming. So I think if you were bright siding it, it's just like, hey, you're two of your best shooters, maybe your two best shooters are 25% and 28% from three right now. Malik Monk, 33%. Obviously, the De'Aaron Fox injury is very relevant here. They actually looked like opening night looked very good in Utah, won that game, played the Warriors tough in their home opener, lost, beat the Lakers to go 2-1, where De'Aaron Fox was awesome in that game, but De'Aaron Fox pretty badly sprains his ankle. They're still 2-1. Then they go to San Francisco, and I thought fought the Warriors pretty well without Fox, right? You were at that game. Should have won,
Should have won that game. Yeah. Klay Thompson,
Thompson hit the
dagger.
game winner. Yeah. A tough 2 with 2 seconds left to win it. So, through 4 games, you're like looking pretty solid. Like even through some shooting struggles, they're defending decently. They're 2-2, but then go to Houston, get blown out twice. Look pretty lifeless. Davion Mitchell starts both games, doesn't look good. Mike Brown, who is pushing buttons right now, even uncomfortable buttons, makes some sweeping rotation changes for the Portland home game. He starts a two-way player, Keon Ellis, who had played well in the last Houston game. Alex Lynn ahead of JaVale McGee, and then probably the most interesting one, right? Kessler Edwards ahead of Sasha Vezenkov, who gets a DMP last night. I think that's defense related. I think that's rewarding guys. Yeah, and I think it's rewarding guys who came in and played hard.
I mean, Jeremy Grant was a problem for them. Kessler was on him a lot, so I understood it.
Yeah, but it's also just like, hey, like those guys played hard in one of the Houston games. Like, play hard and you'll play for me. I think it was kind of that type of message. So again, I think it is too early to panic, but the offense just isn't moving as fluidly. They seem a little tighter, and then I think we're seeing how important Fox is. I mean, he is an elite player whose on-off impact is massive.
And it seems like a day-to-day situation for Fox. I don't have clarity yet. I'd be surprised if he played Friday against OKC, but I'll finish with here on the Kings later because we got a lot of ground to cover. Their schedule is brutal, and it's just a product of the West being tough, but also, from there, just even the Eastern Conference games they have are tough. Here's the breakdown starting Friday at home in their in-season tournament game against the Thunder. They go OKC, Cavs, Lakers, Spurs, Mavs, Pelicans, Wolves, Warriors, Clippers, Nuggets, Nets, Clippers. I mean, I can keep going. At the way I see it, not until December 16th do they have a game that you would say, like, that Vegas would probably have them favored in, I think, at this point. And maybe that's not accurate, but like the
Well,
Jazz on December
yeah,
16th, and then the Wizards are the next game. But it's a rough schedule.
yeah. I mean, that's the league now, though.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
tough to. I mean, Portland at home is about as simple a game as you're gonna get, and even last night, I mean, that's difficult.